Come on in, everybody. Welcome. This is our home in Taos, New Mexico, and it's called an Earthship. And behind these walls, there are big car tires and Coca-Cola cans and beer cans. And that's what gives us the structure. Here we have glass bottles in the most beautiful, artfully way designed for everyone to enjoy. And the light hits at different times at different days. You'll see as we go through the house. We're now walking down to this beautiful place called the Earthship, or we like to call it our temple home, as we pass many of the helpers of the world at this time. Most of them aren't here now on this earth, but they're here in their prayers and in their assembly for all of us, as is Lord Krishna, bringing all of the beautiful cows in. So we'll go here. I think we'll first go to our left, yes. And we'll enter these steps here with a protective, I think they're lions, given to us by a good friend from Japan who had them shipped. As we walk through, you'll see more glass bottles, and in between tonkas from Tibet and many other art that we've collected throughout 37 years of being married. We've traveling here, traveling there. We've been very fortunate to have brought it all home to this Earthship. This is a garden, growing 12 months out of the year. We've only been here back for 7 weeks, but what Gershubbet has done with his magic thumb to create all these beautiful plants, also letting our Kuan Yins and our wonderful little beings, gnomes, in the gnome house, protect us. Let's walk into our living room. This is quite wonderful. When we say that we don't really live inside, we don't really live outside, we really mean it. We live on both sides. So here we have a beautiful, and we were here when they built it. Now, the floors were totally mud. The beautiful wood behind all of these walls, tires and cans. It truly is a recycled house, taking garbage and bringing it into total beauty, which was Mike Reynolds, the originator of all this, his dreams 50 years ago. And we thank him so much for what he's done for the world. They have Earthships now in so many different countries. They're building them for people who need small housing and have tires and beer cans. They teach them how to build them. Here is, again, a beautiful place to gather and to be so thankful. The years of all of the Native American, Mexican art that's been collected, the Indian art that's been collected, the Tibetan art, the folk art. Art brings the human heart together. Art makes you smile and understand the oneness. And that's why we can truly call this beautiful Earthship a temple Earthship. Over here, some of my most favorite from Mexico, from Assisi, from India. I like to mix art all together. I like to have the Native American art along with the Indian, along with a piece from South Africa. It brings the oneness together in this world. For all humans love to express themselves in some form of art. And then we'll walk out the living room and we'll find our way down to hydroponic, Grushovit's new project of growing things in water. We'll let you know as we go along how it works. Our big fig tree that never stops. And this is our bedroom. This bedroom, we sleep so good because there's no wires on the inside of the walls. There's no electricity except governed by the sun's energy. It's a magical place. As we walk through here, again, this beautiful headboard, I found it all full of dust in the back room of a furniture store here in Taos. I looked back and said, "What is this?" I dusted it off. I said, "There's a tiger." And she says, "Oh yes, it's a headboard. Are you interested?" I said, "Yes, very interested." And that's how she is there right now. And then going through, for instance, over here, I had all of these sandalwood statues collected for many years in India. I love them so much. But what to do with them? We went to storage and we found one piece of wood just there in our storage. Came back, put some screws, and there you go. It's been fun to be very, very creative in this glorious place. Creativity is an extension of Taos. It's like when people come here, they have time to come into their own being and create something, an expression of self. So when we got back 7 weeks ago, I started cleaning, organizing, but I didn't spend one penny to redecorate. In a sense, what did I do? I would take pillows from one room and put them in another room. I moved statues here and there and put some nails in and did more this. And it was a lot of fun. So this is our beautifully designed by the Earthship architects, this bathroom. All glass bottles. And I told the glass bottle artist, I said, I want more blues and more aquas. It's just, to take a shower here is unbelievable. Like imagine you're here taking the shower and you get to look. Well, the gnome, he's always there praying for you while you take a shower. And just having a fun, being able to look outdoors. So you see, it feels like I'm in, I'm out, where am I? It doesn't matter. So then we go from here, they designed all of this. And I got to put the touches on it. But at the same time, they're not fixed. They can be moved and shifted because the form, you never ever tire of it. I've never, and I can never imagine ever being tired of this architectural design by God. It's just so beautiful. So today is a rare day because it's raining. We've had sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. So we won't go outside today. We'll wait until we have a sunshine day to do that. So we're going to swiftly go now to the other part. The other part was brand new when we moved in. Then, when we left Los Angeles, we had the funds and the time to take the house that stopped here to what you've just seen. That's the new part. So now we're going to the old part. We're walking up here and seeing a second garden all through here. I'm talking. So walking through here, we've got some very big animals. They won't hurt you. Then we're going to go to the other side of the house, which is where we can roast. The sun oven's there, and we do roasting of potatoes and pumpkins and even bread with the energy of the sun. This is my Buddhist Center. This is where we can come to pray for our Manjushri, for our home for children, and for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and for all sentient beings of the world. And look out to more Earthships doing more good for the world. Okay, so now, sometimes we'll have our lunch out here, if it pleases us. We will cut through to, I think we'll go in the bathroom next. I love this little bathroom. It's our guest bathroom. Now, if you take a look, you'll see it has a bathtub and a shower and lots of art, because we have lots of art. I'll turn this light on because it's real pretty. And you can see, it's very magical. It's a little bathroom. It's actually where we also give the dog a bath too. Let's go through here. This is our guest bedroom. Well, because of the challenging situation in the world now, we don't seem to have guests. We most always have guests here. Someone sleeps, they use the bathroom. It's very nice. So I decided to bring all of my picture books in from my big library outdoors in the garage and stack them all here. So this is our library now, where you can lie on the couch, on the bed, and you could open, Earthships, called Off the Grid. I have so many picture books from so many years of gathering that it's really fun. Instead of tucked away where I don't get to see them, I'll come in the afternoon, open the book, and see, what do I want to look at today? What do I want to dream about when I get to travel again? This is another altar up there. This is Wa's paintings from when she was about 4.5 years old, before she went to India. And I love these paintings. They're like 31 years old now. This I want you to look at because I got it in Sweden. Now, many of you know gnomes, but I was able to gather all these little paintings because I love gnomes. Because gnomes told me when Wa would be born, exactly the day and the time. So I do love gnomes. And when I saw this, okay, I put it all in order so people could come and see the story of the gnomes. Okay, that's that. Now we'll climb over just a little bit so you can see one of our closets. But not important are the closets, is what's above. When our grandson was born about 49 days ago, I made an altar for him. And this is his altar. These are all the animals that Guru Shabbat got when he was born. So they're about 68, 69 years old. Then I have 15 volumes of The Wizard of Oz. So I put some of them there. And I hope in this lifetime I'll be able to read them all to my grandson. Yeah. And so we'll take our voyage through do the outdoors, we do have a laundry room, but it's just a laundry room. But it is solar energy laundry room. So for instance, without sun, today I could only do one load of wash, but I can't put it in the dryer, probably tomorrow. But this is a rare day because we mostly always have sun, and we're very happy to have rain. So this is our last room we'll be showing you. This is what used to be our living room. But when we built the second half, it got to be our dining room, where many people will sit at the benches someday soon and enjoy a meal with us. And our kitchen, where so much cooking gets done, chocolate gets made, coffees get made, and many, many beautiful meals get cooked. Up above you'll see, again, art from Portugal, from Africa, local here, many, many places. Here is a memory bound of, again, country after country. And I feel when art lives together on your shelves and on your walls, it'll be a great contribution for world peace. Let the art bring the peace to all of us. So, this is the famous coffee machine that Gurmukh so beautifully makes anyone who comes. Roasted coffee beans from outdoors, homemade almond milk from his ingenuity. And then we walk through here. This is a very, very famous artist. Never can remember his name though. This is all of his. He was young and he took the traditional Native American art, like so many of the new artists are doing, and just put their own touch on it, which is so fantastic. This is a totem pole found in Ottawa, Canada, but made in Bali. Funny, huh? Art from Assisi in Italy and from Portugal in Porto. This is a shrine to the Buddhist culture and to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that we may find a way of life that's suitable for the whole world, and the Tibetans that have it so right. When the Dalai Lama was asked, what is your religion? Are you a Buddhist? And he said, my religion is kindness. So we circle around here. Now, if it wasn't for Gurmukh, none of this would happen, because he sits here quite a long time every day to do research on different things or to get more knowledge about different things. And he also orders a lot of things from Amazon.com. So I think that's about it. Next time we do something with the thanks to Deborah, who's holding the camera, we'll do outdoors, and we'll do maybe a short tour of not just our outdoors, but the greater community here. And so I'm signing off right now. Thank you, Satnam.
Well, first of all, thank you for the time. I appreciate it. And yeah, if you just want to tell us a little bit maybe about, well, why did you decide to live in an earthship rather than in a conventional building? And what differences do you see?
I didn't decide to live in one. It decided for us.
Okay.
We were looking at various types of houses out here, and it was winter, and a realtor was showing us some adobe houses, some straw bale houses, and some earthships. So, and we come and go a lot. So, and we're not here a lot in the winter. And having grown up in an environment where we had a second house in winter and draining pipes and all that business so they don't freeze up, and putting stuff antifreeze in the traps of all your toilets and et cetera, I knew from being a kid and growing up, I didn't want to go through all that when I wasn't here all winter. And I didn't also want the utility bill of keeping a property warm all winter so it wouldn't freeze up. Didn't want to come into a cold property that takes days to warm up. So we started looking at properties. Check off adobe, gone, because it's freezing cold in an adobe and takes a week to heat it up. Then we went to a straw bale, and again it was winter and it wasn't being lived in. Walked into the straw bale and it was about 50 degrees inside there. Then he brought us over, and then he said, "You want to look at an earthship?" I said, "No, those things are too weird looking, you know." He said, "No, just come look at one." We walked into this one here, and Hillary, who was, it was going to be a rental at that point, was in the garden doing some gardening. And you want anyone to promote earthships, just start talking to Hillary, because she's the greatest promoter of earthships I've ever met. And she starts telling us about it, and it's 70 degrees inside the earthship, and there's no heat other than solar gain. And so that was pretty much what sold us on earthships, was that aspect of it. We didn't know about all the rest of it really at that point. We didn't know about operating the solar system or the gray water systems or collecting water, but just that fact that no external use of energy, and you could be in the middle of winter and be comfortable in an earthship.
Have you had to learn a lot of the maintenance aspect, or?
Well, I know them all now, but it's pretty simple. I mean, they're not a very complicated, and they are a ship. You have to regulate them. You have to open windows, close windows. Otherwise, it's too hot or it's too cold, you know. And you have to become more conscious of your use of water. You don't turn a tap on in an earthship and let the water run through while you're brushing your teeth, because you realize. And I think that you don't leave a bunch of electricity running all night long and draining your batteries in the winter when, yeah, we have great sun and we have plenty of juice running through our panels and into the converters and the chargers, but a battery charges at a low wattage over a certain amount of time, and in the winter there's not enough daylight. So you have to, for about a month and a half, you have to adjust your use of electricity as compared to now in the summer. I can use all I want, it's no problem. But you become conscious of water, you become conscious of juice, of electricity usage, and it's like it changes your whole frame of mind. And when you go into a city, you go, why are these people leaving all their lights on all night long? Why are these people just, the amount of water that's used in a city, I'll bet you people four people living in a house in Los Angeles use more water in a week than we use in 2 months.
Yeah.
And we're not feel deprived of anything here. I mean, this particular earthship, because we built the second part of it and to the specs I wanted, and we already owned the first part, and then we built the garage, I have more water storage than anybody in this community. I have more electricity than anybody in this community. Because I did the numbers in my head, it doesn't cost that much more money to add a few more water tanks, and when it rains here, it rains. And then it might be 2 months before it rains again. So, you know, adding a few more tanks, spending a few more $1,000, putting in, and now it doesn't matter. Solar panels are so cheap. So now your big expense becomes batteries. But what a quantum leap in batteries. When I started here in 2011, we had lead acid batteries. And, you know, well, maybe you can show people the size of the battery boxes and how big. Or I can show you my nickel iron batteries versus 4 little lithium ion batteries, and the 4 little lithium ion batteries, which take up 1/5 to 1/7 of the amount of space, have more juice and can be run down 100%.
Yeah.
without damaging him and then up. So there's been huge leaps in technology just since 2011 till now that allow you to live, and I know the people over here in this other Earthship have done the same thing, added a few more panels, added a few more batteries because they need computers all the time because of their business. I don't have any shortage of anything. I live here like I lived in LA, but you have to live consciously. And I'm not polluting.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of people are scared of that. They're scared of having to be deprived of any of the comforts that they have in conventional building.
I have a big iMac computer. I have NAS storage disks, several of them that are running all the time. I have internet that's running all the time. I have a 60-inch television there if I want to watch television. I mean, really, the only source we use from outside in these is propane, propane. But you know what? We have a 250-pound propane tank that the original, I didn't fill it for 5 years.
Wow.
Because the only thing it heats is the stove, the dryer, and the instant hot water on. But then, we have solar hot water also. So the only time that really kicks on for any amount of time, the instant on hot water gas things, is in the winter. This time of year they hardly go on at all because the water gets hot enough and it stays hot enough.
Yeah. What about food? Do you grow food here in the greenhouse?
I'm not here so much out of the year that I don't grow much. I have mostly herbs out there, some comfrey, things that are more perennials that keep going and going. But as you and I were just talking, I am starting a hydroponic system out there. It's a flood and drain type system. And because I haven't been here that much, I haven't experimented to how I can grow as much as I can grow, what I can grow. I have experimented and found out a number of things that I can't grow for various reasons. Too hot, too many bugs, too many this, too many that. We live on a mesa out here. It's a semi-desert mesa. It's very difficult to grow outdoors with the shortage of water that we have. I mean, we have a lot of water for personal use, but when you start gardening, that's a lot of water outdoors. So, and part of the covenants of this community are you can't drill wells. Yeah. Which I don't happen to agree with, but that's something to discuss in the future.
Yeah, that's something that the people from the France Earthship were saying as well, that the growing food part is, kind of the one part that they don't really mind, but that, they haven't really experimented enough with yet, because it's an experiment.
It's an experiment.
Yeah.
But if you go to some of the other established greenhouses here, I've seen some amazing food being grown. Amazing tomatoes, amazing kale. I had, Gurmukh and I had some kale plants here that, they finally just gave out because they lasted 2 or 3 years. They had stalks like this. And you'd pick them and they'd produce more, and pick them and they'd produce, and we had chard also,
But it wasn't Mike's forte. He's not a horticulturist or a gardener. He's a visionary of buildings.
Yeah.
And but they're opening up farmers market the 17th, I think, next Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And so we know there's so much good food that grows in this area.
But not out here. Not on the mesa.
Yeah.
It's
The
almost
mesa's
like
a whole other
finding
story.
nature out here.
And our focus is we're teachers that travel through the world. We're not here half the year. This is like our refuge to come home to. So we like being a little removed from town. I'll tell you the other thing that we found, like between this and a conventional home, because we had a home in LA for 20 years, is the low latency of magnetic interference that's coming from Wi-Fi and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have it in Earthships. You can isolate it into an area if you need Wi-Fi, because there's so much cement and heavy building materials in these buildings, the Wi-Fi won't travel very far. So, I mean, I've got routers, but some of them I have on timers that turn off at night
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to sleep in it. So at this end of the house where our bedroom is and stuff, there's no Wi-Fi at night. It is on during the day, and you also have a very low latency of the EFTs.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's the electricity, all the wires is buried in cement and behind tires and dirt, and so the experience of living in a low latency of magnetic disturbance is amazing. The sleep that we experience here, deepest sleep anywhere in the world. And as soon as you get back into the cities, because most of our teaching is in cities, the whole place is just like.
When we lived back and forth in New York for 13 years, we had a yoga center there in Soho. And when we get there, even from LA, the challenge to get to sleep at night was crazy. Here you just...
If you, like in New York City, we had a bedroom on the 3rd floor. You open up your computer, you go to the Wi-Fi, you would find 50 Wi-Fi units from all the apartments around you that were coming through your room.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
I
true.
think also when people ask what's it like, I said, well, it isn't exactly like living inside a house. We're like, it's almost like we live outside. Because you look there and then you look there and it's not,
Honey, you should come over here because her camera's here.
Yeah, that would
Oh,
be
you're
great,
taking-
actually.
it's a close separate, it's so close, and like just watching this full moon in May come up and go down and watching suns, and you, whether you're plugged into the elements in nature or not, you will be.
Mm-hmm.
And people, this is the funniest thing though. We don't have people now. We really I miss people because people are my thing, and we'd always have parties here or have just a couple or 4 or 5 people. We'd be sitting here at night. We couldn't get them to go home, and finally we just have to excuse ourselves. It's almost like we're going to bed now. Because they didn't want to go anywhere. They just keep saying it's so quiet here, it's so peaceful here.
Very quiet.
And they just, because there's no buzz going on in the walls and everything. And people dream then of having an Earthship. We don't have any friends yet that have made one, but certainly a lot of them, it's just like, phew.
You feel more grounded almost, isn't it? That's how I
Very
feel.
grounded.
Like
You feel grounded, but you also, I think also the Native American culture here is that the reincarnation with Kokopelli is from the earth up, where in France, Catholicism is the angels coming down. And so even the clouds look different here, and the essence of self is different here, and it is the ground, you know? And we love to go to Native American occasions whenever we can go here in Taos. And it always helps us to remember why we're here.
Yeah. One thing a friend of mine said the other day, she said that, in general, we always get educated to live against nature. Yeah. And now this whole situation especially is, helping us. Some of us have already done that before, but it is helping to force the people that haven't realized it to live with nature, not against it,
Yeah, all that, when you hear the testimonies of what's happened in your life, and if they have finances that they can put food on the table, they always say, yeah, I'm growing a garden now, or I'm planting, or I'm slowing down, or I'm this and that. And I think it's the way that Creator created us to be, not so speedy. Now, will it last? I don't know. Time will tell that. Once you re-enter society, will it be different? I don't know. We'll have to see. I hope and I pray it does. That people find a different value in their lives than what maybe they've been striving for. That it doesn't seem so important, power, wealth, and all of that, that we've been so programmed. Another thing is, we've been programmed pretty much to lie. It's kind of a phenomenal of the Western people to exaggerate, not tell the truth if it doesn't. I mean, it's a very shady truth and no truth. And we can see it now with the media going on. What's truth, what's not truth? You come back to the earth, you look at the sky, you grow a garden, you feel the feet on the ground, you go on a hike, and pretty soon truth gets more real.
Mm.
And I think that if we can take this back into the cities and for us personally into our teachings, it'll benefit the world.
How has this whole situation right now with what's going on in the world affected you two personally?
Well, we've only been here for 6 weeks. We came directly from India. And we've been in India for quite a while. We love India. As crazy as it is, you feel God there. You feel there's some force bigger than the human being. And I think that attracts us there more than ever. And we like to spend, if we can, like half the year there. We got back and I was thinking, okay, my suitcase is still packed. I'm going to take off. We're going to go to Europe. We're supposed to be in Europe all the spring, teaching here, everywhere. And, okay, so that's not happening. So now I better plan to stay here. I went through every chapter of emotions you can imagine. Now where I am, I'm just neutral every day. I've been able to clean my house. Like, see these fixtures up here? We never washed them. And when we washed them, it was ay. I mean, it was, and just go to every crevice and look at all my little animals and switch them around and stuff. I've never done that. So, and we've been cooking and we fed at the men's shelter and he's growing this garden and we kind of get up and say, what are we going to do today? We never were like that before because every day had a do. But I did go back to teaching 3 times a week and doing benefits like for South Africa because my nature is to teach. I'm sure if you had a profession, you could kick back a little bit, but you would have this burning, like you, wanting to make a documentary, wanting to do this, creating this almost yourself because your creative energy was driving you to do something instead of, well, let's just watch TV and watch the old movies and make some popcorn and stuff. I think people who have known what they need to do in this life, it's a reset. But for us, it's not that big a reset. I liked my life. I thought everything was fine. So now it's still fine.
Did you feel trapped at any point because of all these restrictions, or?
I think if you felt trapped, it'd be inside your own head if you lived in an Earthship, because we have all the freedom to be outside. We go to he knows more national forests and trails than I didn't even know existed. Like today, he said, you want to go to this lake? I've never been to this lake. Up the road a ways. And then just outdoors and cooking and doing my yoga outdoors, taking walks on the back road. No, I've never felt I got to get out of here. But I have friends that do in New York City, in apartments, yes. And I don't know. I think we are so blessed to be here, so blessed.
Yeah.
But I came to Taos in I came with a caravan. It was 67 school buses. They were painted psychedelic out of San Francisco with Stephen Gaskin and Ina May Gaskin, the mother of home midwifery. Anyway, it was such a trip because we came to Taos and I got an inkling right then and there to stay. But either you got on the bus, they say on the bus or off the bus. And I got on the bus and it was, 50 years later that we came back. But it was an old, sleepy town. And even when I moved in 1972 to Espanola, and I stayed there from 72 to 77, opened up Golden Temple Restaurant in Santa Fe. I lived in our spiritual community. You couldn't even go up to churches. You couldn't go up there because it was like the Wild West, where the communities, they do shoot downs and the cops wouldn't even come. No one came. It was the Wild west here in New Mexico, probably more than any other state in the United States. And then little by little, tourists, it was like a sleepy town, Santa Fe, and Taos is like, it wasn't even on the map. And then little by little, I think people started longing for something that was real. And then culture got rebirthed here. Artists came. It was a wonderful place for people to come. And I mean, you just look at the sunrise and the sunset and everything in between. If you're an artist, you want to capture it.
Yeah.
Photographer, forget it, man.
Yeah, it has an amazing energy. Yeah.
Like, no, you can cross to Arizona or cross right above the border to Colorado. It's different. It's just different. And when we were looking for land here, we crossed the border from Colorado. We drove, and an eagle crossed, and we knew that was the sign. But people who have never been here, they come and they just walk through and wonder. It's like there's no words that can describe how they feel. And because when you think of an earthship, you first think of two things: tires and beer cans. And you can't imagine. I said, no, you don't see those things. They're in the walls. But they still can't imagine it.
Yeah.
And even looking from the highway or an aerial view, it just looks like, I don't know, flying saucers that have landed, spaceships that have landed.
Yeah, but it feels so different. That's what I always tell people as well. I'm like, you just do not understand just the feeling when you're
You
in
can't
there.
describe
Yeah.
the feeling. You have to
Yeah.
say, come and feel it.
Yeah.